Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the channel. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming back. I have a new video ready, and here it is right now, but I'm gonna admit I didn't film an intro because I had to leave to Ireland to celebrate my friends Kate and Keller. They got married. Congratulations to you guys. And I figured, you know what, instead of doing a big completions video again, I'm gonna do a little wrap-up video. All the games I completed while I was away. And to kick it all off, I'm celebrating by drinking my very first authentic, in Dublin, pint of Guinness.
Enjoy, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. This is to you guys for second chances and for the opportunity. Oh, two pints, two more pints. I only ordered one. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, thank you. I only ordered one. I ordered one pint, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pints of Guinness. I didn't. Oh,
I'm really
man.
sorry about the way. There's your pints of Guinness. Enjoy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Holy crap. Thank you. I guess I gotta complete it by drinking all of it. I gotta start somewhere. Are you gonna join me?
Sure, we're Irish, aren't we?
Thank you for joining me. Cheers.
Sláinte Macara.
Sláinte Macara.
It means cheers, my friends.
Cheers, my friend. Drink. I mean, it's all right.
Get the f out of here.
Sometimes you just need something straightforward and addictive, and few games scratch that itch quite like Bloons.
Because I wanted to get the Platinum Trophy, I chose to play the PS4 version of the game on my PS5. And the PlayStation 4 port of Bloons 6 is kind of a buggy, borderline, unfinished mess. Not only does it lack most of the free updates from the phone version, but it will reliably crash at least 6 to 7 times per play session. Whether it's too many balloons on screen, attempting to start a co-op match, or even just spending too much time on a certain level, you are guaranteed to experience crash after crash. It's so consistently unstable that I can, on command, reliably crash the game at least 10 different ways if I want to. The mobile port of Bloons 6 gets constant updates even to this day, but these updates are completely missing from the PlayStation versions. Okay, so Monkey Cash is the main currency in Bloons, and you'll mainly obtain it by clearing medals on every map, with the hardest maps and challenges rewarding the most cash. But trying to conserve your cash is going to make the hardest rounds even more challenging. As with any mobile game, that's where they get you. You could grind, or you could just, buy the Monkey Cash with real money. That's the freemium model at work, folks, and it's par for the course in most mobile games. Look, I'm not the most proud of it, but yes, I did buy some Monkey Cash just to make the overall experience a little easier for myself. If you are going for the Platinum Trophy, it's worth your time to spend a little bit of money and save yourself the headache. All right, so let's talk about that Platinum Trophy. Most of the trophy should come pretty easily until you're clearing out the last few achievements. With enough time and patience, you'll find yourself clearing all 140 rounds, even on the hardest difficulties. Most of the achievements are pretty easy, but the main problems arrive in the form of popping 100 million balloons. The problem is, no matter how many layers a balloon has, every individual balloon itself popped only counts for one. As a result, those later rounds are going to start giving you progressively less returns for your time investment, since you'll be encountering far more powerful balloons along the way that do not count for any more than the balloons from the first round. This is when Bloons Tower Defense 6 quickly became a boring, mindless grind through the least interesting parts of the game repeatedly for hours on end. This one achievement pulled me right out of this game, especially since I was dealing with those constant, reliable crashes. I had to give my full attention the entire time, since tuning out would guarantee a crash. Simply put, completing Bloons 6 is a pain in the ass. Stay away from the console ports and stick to your smartphone versions, or even the PC port for that matter. I still adore Bloons Tower Defense 6 and still really enjoyed completing most of the game. But between the metric tons of technical problems and that last 100 million Bloons trophy, I'm extremely burnt out on Bloons Tower Defense 6. In 2024, I made a video about 8 games that I love but would never complete. You should go watch it, or maybe not, because I'm kind of the sad boy in those videos. But anyways, in that video, I said this. Overall, this is one of those platinum trophies that, in my opinion, probably feel satisfying to earn in the end, but ultimately speaking, if I'm gonna do it, it's all I'm gonna do for a very long time. And who knows, maybe I'll just passively try and complete it one day. But as of right now, I'm okay. Turns out my crumbling career and social anxiety of life was the perfect incentive I needed to finally tackle this tedious, life-sucking trophy setup. In comparison to what the real world was offering me at the time, dedicating my life to completing Diablo II Resurrected was very enticing by comparison. Throughout the entirety of 2024, I had spent hundreds and hundreds of hours working to a total of 800 hours to complete this behemoth of a game on PS5, and it was just as difficult as I had feared. I want to clarify that the ass-biting tedium only applies to a very specific way that I played this game. Diablo 2 itself is still the addictive, unmatched dungeon crawler experience. If you want my full thoughts on Diablo 2, you can check out my New Game Plus video from several years ago. In the original release, you just needed to complete every quest and beat the game, and play until you got bored. But trophies in Resurrected bring a whole new slew of new challenges for you to tackle. Some are just casual tasks in the main game, and others seem to only exist for the truly obsessive Diablo 2 fans to sink endless hours into. Now, if you are one of those obsessive super fans of Diablo 2 like myself, you might have already gotten this achievement, and maybe you're judging me. You looked at my 800-hour investment and said, "What the hell took you so long, Gerard?" Well, to start, I needed to finish the game with every character class, completing all quests on one character at the very least, and finishing the game on hell difficulty with every single class. That means beating the game with every class on 3 difficulties right out the gate. But the real time-consuming achievement has to be reaching level 99 as a hardcore character. There also is one for just hitting level 99, but that's not on hardcore mode. If you do the hardcore mode achievement from the beginning, you'll get both trophies for the price of one. Going from level 98 to 99, however, requires you to gain all of the XP required to reach level 98 in one go, and that can almost double your playtime on your character. Multiplayer on consoles is sadly not cross-platform with each other. In the end, I made the tough call that if I wanted to get that illustrious level 99 hardcore trophy, I'd have to grind it out offline by myself. And so began my unholy pilgrimage to level 99. I want to give a shout out to one of my community members known as Pat P7, who meticulously sat down with me and planned and helped me come up with a battle strategy to get that platinum trophy. We did it together, and he was my one true friend supporting my need to get the platinum. So thank you again, my dude. For months, I spent most of my free time throwing on movies and TV shows in the background and just hitting the grindstone on the ultra difficult but specifically tailored terror zones. Within terror zones, enemies are locked to being at least 2 levels above you on the highest difficulty, meaning you're gaining unbelievably higher amounts of XP in exchange for the most difficult enemies in the game. These terror zones are chosen at random based on the calendar year and time of day. However, in single player, you can thankfully set your console clock to stay in the same terror zones for as long as you need, since they're locked to specific dates and times. You can also choose in the console settings to decide to have a game that acts as if you have 8 players playing, even though you're by yourself. Month after month rolled by, and as of last February of 2025, I finally completed this awful experience. And for those of you wondering what my endgame build was, I ended up rocking a Holy Fire Double Dragon Rune Word Paladin. It was insanely broken for the first levels from 1 to 85. Don't be like me. There's no question that Resurrected is the best version of Diablo 2 in my eyes. From the new graphics to the modern quality life of changes, even new rune words and terror zones, everything is just far more polished. This might not have ruined Diablo 2 for me the way that Bloons did, but it definitely will be a while before I go back to visit Sanctuary once again.
Going from one demonic crusade to the next, I feel like it's impossible to say anything new when it comes to Vampire Survivors. It's incredibly popular, and I've been head over heels for this game since it released. I did take a pretty big break from it in December of 2023, but once I saw that Castlevania DLC was getting added amongst other DLC campaigns that had been added, I had no choice but to dive right back in. I figured it'd be a great way to relax and kill time, and just wanted to get some platinums for my own satisfaction. I needed an uncomplicated game to complete. Thankfully, this isn't a repeat of a few of the games on this list. This is known as the game that ravenously consumes tens of hours of your life at a time, and that happened to me all over again here. Most of the trophies are just about putting in the time to get higher ranks or using specific spells and weapon loadouts, so you're guaranteed to get the platinum if you just pay a little attention and grind away. That time sink shouldn't be a problem since Vampire Survivors is built from the ground up to get you snowballing into that disgusting force of nature that will just snap the game's difficulty in half. It wants you to feel like you found a comically overpowered build, and that's what keeps me coming back to this game time and time again. Vampire Survivors is a wonderful time, and I can't say enough good things about it. I highly recommend it if you're at all curious about what everyone's been talking about. Just be prepared to set some time aside in case they get your hooks into you. Among the pantheon of fighting game franchises, the Marvel vs. Capcom titles stand as my go-to games, specifically Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. When these games got a fan campaign to bring them back, I supported it as much as I could. Genuinely, this is my desert island of fighting games. I can't express my love for these games more than that. As a result, when the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game collection got announced, I was one of those dozens of people you might have seen losing their goddamn minds and how excited they were. Now, I was initially pretty hesitant to complete this collection. The idea of possibly going through every one of the game's campaigns with every character at some point on the hardest difficulty is obviously a super time-consuming process, and I was certain that doing so would drive me to hate every single one of the games in this collection. However, that wasn't the case, and the game only took about 6 hours to get the platinum for. The trick is that the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game collection features a save state system that allows you to mark your progress anywhere in the single-player campaign. What's more, the game doesn't seem to care about how much you use it. You can take a character of your choosing to the final boss and make a save state before the fight starts. Beat the game, get your achievement, and reload your save state. From there, die at the final boss, go to the character select screen, make a new save state, and then beat the game, and you'll still get the progress completed for that next character. The game only checks that you complete the one fight with every character, not the entire playthrough, and this works on every single game in the collection. Now you might be saying to yourself, Gerard, cheating means you didn't complete the game. You cheated not only the game, but yourself. You're a liar, a scammer, a cheater. Everyone thinks you're a piece of shit, and that's just the way it's going to be for the rest of your life. And to that I'd say, yeah, probably. I'm probably going to get that label whether I like it or not. But I wasn't ever intending to make a full completionist episode on this title. I just wanted a bunch of fun platinums, and this made the process a no-brainer. Sometimes brain feel good for getting platinum trophies. Considering the single-player runs are practically identical regardless of which character you choose, there's effectively no content being skipped by doing this whole system. Completing a single-player run with every character, or God forbid every possible combination of character teams, does not provide you with any additional content. Every game featured in this collection has all of the stages unlocked from the start, and selecting the hidden characters has been made far easier than in their original releases. These are arcade fighting games after all. They're meant to be practiced and perfected before challenging others and serving them all a clean slice of humble pie. This wasn't about all of that to me. I just wanted to see the characters, the end screens, the story bits, and add the platinum trophy to my collection. Again, it only took 6 hours. To be clear, that last fight at the end of each single player run is still kind of difficult, but overcoming it was fun since it forced me to learn characters' quirks and playstyles right away, just well enough to get over that hurdle. Beating each game's final fight gets you a gorgeous portrait of each character, which isn't the most rewarding thing in the world, but hey, at least you get something. Like a lot of the games on this list here, I've actually already completed the first Dead Rising twice. Once for the original Completionist show, and a second time for New Game Plus. Now, if you want my full thoughts on this game, I definitely encourage you to check out my older videos. Suffice to say, I love the first game and its sequels that came with it, but the first Dead Rising benefited the most from a traditional remake. Capcom has made some incredible changes to specifically the completion process that undeniably makes this new remaster the definitive way to experience Dead Rising. Tons of small changes like survivors being way smarter and less helplessly dumb. Otis's calls are all skippable now, a better objective compass, and a new rocket launcher item back into the game after being cut from the original release. Capcom touched up on the controls here as well, making Frank handle a lot more like they would in the other Dead Rising games. Rolling is no longer a double tap on the stick, you can shoot while moving, plus if you prefer the more rigid original feeling, there's always the option to switch it back. This deluxe remaster really just makes Dead Rising much more accessible without really diminishing the original experience, and that extends to even making the 100% completion process less tedious. The original Dead Rising was somewhat infamously known for its agonizing achievements, and I'm happy to say that this is no longer the case in the deluxe remaster. The renamed Zombie Annihilator achievement requires you to kill at least 53,594 zombies. Where originally this had to be done in a single run, you're now able to spread this across multiple runs, making it far more likely that you can work at it naturally while doing other things. Easily the most improved was the 7-day survivor achievement. Now, this requires you to survive Infinity Mode for at least 7 full days, or 168 in-game hours. During this mode, your health will steadily drop, requiring you to continuously eat food to keep Frank alive the entire time. But now, gone are the days of simply sitting on a car and watching a movie while you wait to feed Frank every now and then. In this new version, you can now skip ahead in time in every game mode of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. In addition to this, while food spawns are still scattered throughout the mall, zombies will now randomly drop loot that includes food items, making it easier to keep a stash to feed Frank. This takes Dead Rising from a game you should finish to a game that I can completely recommend to complete. I thoroughly enjoyed completing the Deluxe Remaster, even if Frank's new voice actor was a pretty unnecessary change in my eyes. Like most people out there, I had incredibly high expectations for the Plucky Squire when I saw the trailer that came out a couple years ago. The art style is unique, the animation is charmingly expressive, and the gimmick of jumping out of the storybook to explore a 3D desk environment filled with paints and art supplies has a Pikmin-like intrigue that just begs to be explored. This is without mentioning the idea of being able to freely explore your storybook by physically turning the pages in the real world. The potential for cool mechanics was really exciting, especially since the trailer showed off tons of different gameplay styles, referencing games like Punch-Out and Zelda. Needless to say, this game was checking a lot of my boxes, and I was really looking forward to finally getting my hands on it. Unfortunately, in my eyes, the Plucky Squire falls a little flat for most of its runtime. The Plucky Squire is a chapter-based Zelda-style game that really only uses its storybook gimmick for puzzles that can be described as Scribblenauts Mad Libs. The chapter structure essentially railroads you into a linear structure with no exploration outside of one glitch bird per chapter, with 10 throughout the whole game, and 50 art scrolls hidden in various places. There are a handful of missable achievements for doing specific actions in specific chapters, like making something silly using the Mad Libs mechanics, or catching a fish on your first try. However, you do get a chapter select once you beat the game, so it isn't really a big deal to go clean something up once you've missed it. Now, to be clear, I don't really have a strong dislike for the Plucky Squire. It's a fine game that feels mostly like it was made for children and asks less for the player than most Zelda games even do. However, given the amount of potential in the concept, it just isn't a fulfilling experience when it feels like none of the mechanics are really explored as much as you'd hoped for. Despite how the game seems to love Nintendo, you won't find any of the elegantly simple yet surprisingly deep mechanics that define Nintendo's games. Completion isn't a big challenge, but nothing in the game ever is, and as a result, the entire journey is a little boring and left me feeling kind of disappointed. No amount of gorgeous visuals can fix a game that just kind of lands flat. If you're really endeared by how it looks, or maybe you have a pretty young kid and want to share a game with them, then by all means, this is the game to get them. But for me, I can't recommend the Plucky Squire the way that I want to. So this next section isn't just one game, but actually 6 games in a series, and each game costs $1. They border on the sort of slop you'd find on the Nintendo eShop that constantly goes on sale for a penny. So, as I said earlier, easy platinums, baby. Okay, so these games are all practically the same. Same engine, same graphics, same music, same sound. You get the picture. Most of the games are extremely basic platforming with a surprisingly annoying timer and twitchy I wanna be the guy style platforming. You don't even need to play every single stage to complete most of these, and that is just wonderful. 3 of the 6 games are literally exactly the same game besides the character you play as. Sure, these are all games, all right. The last 2 are at least a little bit different, kind of. Nick and Kit's math quiz is pretty much solving basic math equations to complete every stage. Besides that, we're introduced to everyone's favorite character, Zippy the Circle. Zippy sold weed in high school in the Burger King parking lot back in 2007, and now he's out on parole as a born-again Christian. Zippy's here to tell you all why math is so important for finance, construction, and especially in the Bible. The section covers Zippy's community service probation requirements. Zippy is so important, in fact, that there's an entire achievement just for him. We love Zippy here, and I hope he stays back on his feet. He has some super dope, funky music. All right, this math game was actually the most tedious platinum of the bunch since it requires completing all 30 levels of first-grade math problems, but at least it's different from the other games and actually requires you to finish it right. Anyways, the other game that isn't a platformer is Welcome to the World of Nick and Kit, a visual novel. Wait, hold on. This is just another platformer with even easier levels this time. Well, clearly the platforming is just a means to the real gameplay, and that's the incredible narrative storytelling. By that, I mean that Nick and Kit will constantly advertise their other games to you in between introducing each other and talking about getting their Bible stolen by a character named Liz. The crazy thing is that they tell you to play Liz's Adventure, but that game does not even exist on the PSN store. When they aren't advertising their other products to you, Nick and Kit will tell you all about their faith in Jesus, and especially how interesting the Bible is. At one point, Nick even says, "The Bible has all kinds of neat stuff in it. I love learning what it says."
Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 1. No one whose testicles are crushed, or whose male organ is cut off, shall enter the assembly of the Lord. It's not very nice.
When I think about cheap, simple games on the PSN store that constantly go on sale, 112th Seed is the perfect example. 112th Seed is a pixel art puzzle platformer where you push blocks, open doors, transform into a flying plant, and navigate tight platforming to reach the end of each stage. It's about 20 minutes long, not very hard, and waking up the scientists at the very end of the game rewards you with the platinum. 112th Seed does feature a set of post-game puzzles, which I didn't play since I was just in it for the platinum trophy. Overall, it's decently well animated, the music's okay, and it was $1. Honestly, for what it is, totally fine. It's $1. Round Invaders! You spin around Earth and shoot aliens slowly moving towards the planet. You will get all the achievements within literally seconds, and I only have about 3 minutes of footage for this game before I got the platinum. Even if I had more to say, I literally don't have anything else for you to look at. This is the gameplay. It took me 3 minutes to get the platinum trophy. 3 minutes. Just 3. Okay, so just so we're on the same page here, this is not a joke. This is not a bit. I have actually had a lot to drink. I drink a lot of Guinness. With that said, I'm just going to go ahead and read this as it's written, and we're just going to hope that it sounds good. Man, do you ever just color in one of those therapeutic adult coloring books? Yeah, what if that but in reverse? Anyways, one of the last games that I want to talk about today in the void is PowerWash Simulator. I was knee deep in what I hope would be the final word on my cancellation. I have no idea if it would work, if people would accept me back, or even if I had it in me to open myself up to all the drama channels again. This was exactly the sort of headspace I had spent months living in, and despite how much progress that I had made in my own life and trying to find a new normal, I could barely make out a light at the end of the tunnel. All I could do was just keep doing the thing I'd always done. That's complete games. And so for the next couple of months, I would spend tens of hours just sitting there, power washing. Maybe it was someone's backyard. Maybe it was a work truck. Maybe it was SpongeBob's house. Maybe it was Shrek's swamp. It didn't really matter, and I can't really recall any moment from any part of this game besides a couple of times I played couch co-op with the roommate. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. When faced with the absurdly repetitive turmoil with no end, internally cursed to perform arbitrary labor before once again starting over, it seems like the only way to rebel is to find joy in the monotony instead of succumbing to its ceaseless torture. In this way, PowerWash Simulator perfectly complemented the void of my life. Time stood still as the days rolled into weeks, and all I could do was power wash. Sometimes I got a new nozzle, other times I got a whole new washer. The specifics don't really matter, since at the end of the day, you're just coloring in the picture, you're just rolling that boulder. The tedium is precisely the point of Power Washing Simulator, and it definitely isn't for everyone. However, for the time that it essentially governed my waking life, it really brought me a certain solace. A peace, if you will. It was a task I could accomplish, and at the end of it, I 100% completed not only all available content and challenges in the base game, but also 6 available DLC packs, including Final Fantasy VII, which, yeah, that shit was really cool. At the time of recording this is everything you can do in Power Wash Simulator currently, because Power Wash Simulator 2 just came out. So, yay. More brain-scratching coloring books. I'm not sure if I can really recommend completing this game considering how long it took and where my brain went. It's more like doing every page in a Sudoku puzzle book. And filling that book is more proof of your resilience to complete every page than it is about the challenges that individual pages posed. Play as much of this game as you need for your life. Maybe that's 5 minutes. Maybe that's 50 hours. I don't know. Have it your way. Burger King.
And those are all the games that I completed while I was gone in the void. Thank you all for watching. I have a bunch more games I could talk about. If you want to see them, sound off in the comments below. Hey, if you want to see more, let us know.
Subscribe for the creamy boys.
Subscribe for the creamy boys. The creamy boys love you. Bye.